Read the disclaimer. Hello everyone and welcome to the Beyblade X episode review time. So we continue off with Pakkun against Team Persona. So they do a little bit of a recap just of kind of a previous episode, which I still do find really funny. Someone copies his Bey and just speed runs against a bird right away for it. So this part's just a little bit of a recap at the start. Obviously, Team Persona has their faith in Multi that actually beats Pakkun. They're kind of just like saying, wow, oh, wow, you're so strong and you're such a good Bey crafter. Oh, and then after he's like, oh, well, if I keep on winning, Rex, you're not going to be able to even battle. I do like a little bit kind of the interactions with each other, because obviously as the episode kind of goes on, it's basically that Pakkun is, obviously bullshitting everyone and just has kind of like this little fake persona that he has. So part of that's kind of like what they kind of talk about, that, oh, his popularity is so big because of the fact that, it's how he's interacting with people, whatever, so that's kind of like their perception of him. And also there's a lot of sponsors that are kind of trying to watch to see, because I'm pretty sure Pakkun is self-sponsored because of his BayTube channel, which that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that it's very very realistic, to say the least. But I do kind of like how they set him up, because obviously you don't really need to give that much of a backstory, really, which it's fine, because even in the original manga, it's kind of okay kind of with what they already give, but I do like any additional stuff the anime can actually add in terms of story. So basically, Mako is trying to look for the camera footage, I guess, trying to see when and where he kind of stole the Beys, whatever. So Multi basically kind of, it's like, oh, wow, you made such a good exact copy in a short time. It's almost like you looked into the inside of the mind of the person who made it. And then after he's like, oh, well, it just comes with being a genius Bey crafter. And then basically their battle starts, whatever. Oh, he does actually think about this, by the way, that because Wizard Rod has the weakness of burst resistance, I think he was kind of like debating on that. And that was probably part of his goal, too. I do actually like whenever they kind of focus a little bit on the strategy, not just like mindless battle. So anytime that's mentioned, I do like that. Because it is a big weakness of Wizard Rod for the stock combo, so basically when the battle starts, whatever, it seems like he's dominating. So this was interesting, kind of how they adapted part of like this little goofy thing of the manga. So basically with Pakkun, he's kind of like attacking the Bey and everything, and you kind of get into like this, I assume this is just both in their minds. I don't really think this is literal in that sense, but he's like, oh, he's just imagining defeating all of Team Persona, so like he's using his copy Bey to defeat all of them. So I guess he's like in his ego realm or whatever. He's smiling, he's very overconfident. He's basically taunting, he's like, oh, I feel so sorry for you and your Hell's Hammer. It's such a great Bey, but Bird can't even use it at all. He doesn't really care about any of the real honest stuff. It's more just like he just puts on this bullshit just so people can buy it, just so he can just do well. So again, I think he's a pretty interesting character, and I also really like how Multi basically has, in the anime at least, like really good influencer battles. Like there was Uni, and then after there's Pakkun. So I do like how Multi does have pretty. I think Multi and Common have pretty interesting opponents. Common, not. No, I'll give Common next side. Bird doesn't. I don't really think Bird has not many of interesting ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know if it's just because I don't really care that much about Bird, but I do kind of like Multi's opponents and kind of, in the common specific ones. So basically, Multi just is gonna tank like the strongest hit from Hell's Hammer. I think the avatar is pretty funny, just as like a little bonk. He hits it and he thinks he's going to win, and what happens? Tough shit. This was okay. This was adapted panel from the manga, by the way. It's okay. It's kind of I feel like every time I talk about it, I feel like every time with X, it's like, it's a good setup, but I always feel like the execution's kind of like so-so. Like, I like the idea of kind of how they led into the panel, but it's mostly kind of my thing with X, where I think X is a lot of, like, stills, if that makes sense. So, I was like, it wasn't really that interesting visually when they kind of cut to that, but basically, how is Wizard Rod winning? Well, it's because, well, guess what? It has that outwards weight distribution and stability. Moldy is obviously taunting him because, listen, this guy ain't shit. He doesn't know how to deal with stamina. Wizard Rod is pretty tough stamina type. So basically in his little world, whatever, Moldy's just dominating, and they have like little puppet strings. I like how the music kind of got a little bit creepy at the end, a little bit distorted. Afterwards, she's like, yeah, listen, just because you copy the bay, whatever, it doesn't mean you kind of have like this understanding, because like, if a bay is like made for this very specific person, like Bird for an example, he's not going to be able to just completely adapt and completely understand how to use it. Copying alone doesn't really work. So afterwards, she summons the holy hell of Wizard Rod and does the free Ren, giant spell just to nuke it. But not really nuke it, because I keep thinking it's like that, but it then just activates her super duper stamina spin ability. So he loses. And then after, guess what? He gets exposed. So it's all the footage of him stealing it. He's looking at it, he's falling down. And she's obviously very smug about it, because like, yeah, obviously you would, because this guy just stole your shit. And he's like, oh, that guy ain't shit. But then after he stole it, gets exposed, and then after he kind of like a little bit of a breakdown in his past, and you kind of see his popularity in just copying days, because like his thing or whatever. That is Wyvern Gale on point? Or no, flat. Huh. Yeah, that was a little weird. But you basically see the growth in his channel. He gets obsessed with all of this fame, whatever, goes to his head. He has this bullshit persona. What's really funny about this, actually, is I actually thought it was gonna have a change in the character, but I did forget about how the manga is adapted for this, because at the end of it, when he's kind of like on the floor and whatever, Bird's like, no, listen, what's wrong with you people? Give this guy another chance to redeem himself. And Moldy's like, Bird, what the fuck are you doing? So what I find funny right after is he just slaps the little Pakkun plushie. He does not give a shit about that. He's like, I hate to lose to like scum like you. And he's like, everyone, it's a deep fake! Ironically, this is funny because of the fact he's battling Multi, and the official Beyblade account just loved to use that Multi-AI thing that's a piece of shit of a video. So, I do find a little bit of, I don't know, irony in that. But it accuses Multi of that, and she's like, stop. And then after, he basically just leads into next week, which next week it's a little bit interesting because they have it where instead of, I guess, Multi kind of getting, no match at all and going straight into Common X, instead it's Rex versus Multi, which, funny enough, this is what I originally thought was supposed to happen with UX, whatever Shinobi was. I think that's 04. Because I assumed that because of the fact that Pakkun gets out or whatever, maybe he gets out, and then after you would have UX04 be like the Knight variant. So I thought that was a little funny. I mean, basically in this, it seems like it's just going to be Shield, which is kind of weird. There's no Lance. Actually, they've done Lance here and there. It's fine, I guess. I still find that shot where he just slaps the plushie really funny, but yeah, I think overall, next week seems maybe interesting. I don't know. It seems like they're going to be dragging it out a little bit, but maybe if they can do something interesting with Rex, who cares? What are our ratings for this episode? I said 4 for story. I think art and animation and the battle and CG are just average, so I just said 3. And I think the character work, we just said a 5. So yeah, it's a decent average episode for Beyblade X. I thought the battle was, despite it being like a stamina thing, I thought it was interesting how they did it. So, in terms of the animation, that's kind of it for my thoughts. I thought the chapter was overall, I would say, adapted pretty nicely. I'm very curious on how next week's going to work, because that's technically new content, but I assume what's going to happen is next week's probably all Multi versus Rex, and then after it'll be Common X versus Rex, and then after it'll be Shinobi versus Common X, and then after maybe it'll lead into the Weiss Tiger. Yeah, I think the rest of June is probably bleeding into July. It's probably just going to be leading into that. And then after, we'll probably see Common Y, and then lead into the finale. Because I don't really actually know, because we have a lot of episodes left, actually. So I don't know how many more. There's got to be more filler shit or something. Or maybe something more they could add with the story for like the final parts of it, maybe. But yeah. I think before we kind of wrap up as we end off, what are your thoughts on the episode? Do you like this episode? Anything you thought was adapted nice from the manga, or just in personal that you thought was pretty cool? Mallbase.com, I do want to mention huge thank you to the support for all the pre-orders for Cobalt Dragoon and the random booster. We are sold out completely, I'm pretty sure, so I do appreciate all the support for that. Greatly appreciate it because it does support the channel. So I appreciate any support regardless. Also, if you just want Hasbro Beyblade X, we do have an Amazon affiliate link. It's only for the US right now. Someday I'm going to figure out how to set up the Canadian one when I have a little bit less of a headache. Yeah. Hey, also, I think I did do a community tab post, but I am thinking of probably doing all of the Team Dream whatever and the All-Star thing in one thing. I'll probably double check doing a post, just making sure I have all the battles written down, but yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think I do have to have another Hell's Hammer though, which I don't know if I have one. Hopefully I do, otherwise I can't do that video yet. But I do want to say thank you all for watching. That'll be it for now. Make sure to check out my video on Cobalt Dragoon, and I'll probably have maybe another video on it. Either today, no, definitely not today. Probably tomorrow. I'll do a full in-depth breakdown, maybe. But yes, thank you all for watching. Alrighty, take care, everyone, and that'll be it for now. And yeah, here's to hoping my White Tiger also arrives on Monday. Hopefully. Alrighty, bye.